Hey everybody, I am Boxcar the Fox, and welcome back to Dawn Course. So, I left off right here. I'm just gonna continue without much, so let me just get my mic in position. The corridors are all empty. Everyone must have already got there. A quick glance at my watch tells me it's 13:31, so I'm barely late by a minute. Lunch is the last thing I want to be late to. I open the door and enter the cafeteria. Looks like I'm not the last one. Most of the seats are occupied, but some of the students I saw on the bus are not here yet. The cafeteria is spacious and pretty modern, much better than what I would expect from a rural guest house. Some plants are lined up against the southern wall with windows, and some lamps hang from the ceiling light up the room. Gotta say, I'm liking those designs. I see 2 tables with people I know. Miko is sitting at one end of the room with that bear from before and a raccoon I don't know, and Lake is sitting at the table just next to that one together with Coach and Rune. Lake notices me first and waves to me enthusiastically. Ah, fuck. Fuck, I hate choices. Lake saw me first. I think it'd be rude to not, so I hesitate for a moment, but I walk up to the table where Lake, Rune, and Coach are sitting and sit down beside the lion. I feel a slight twinge of guilt, though. I fucked it. I fucked up. First decision, I already fucked up. I want to make some new friends, but I don't want Miko to feel like I'm pushing him aside. I glance at the second table, and I see he's chatting with the raccoon, the bear listening to their conversation. Maybe I'm worrying over nothing. Oh, good. Hey, Boxcar. I didn't see you here, so I figured you'd be late and saved you a seat. Unpacked already? Yeah, it took me a little longer than expected, but I managed to take a photo I even like, so it wasn't a waste of time. How about you? Oh yeah, I love the room I got. It's so big, and I've got a huge bed all for myself. And maybe the most comfortable carpet I've ever put my paws on. It's really comfortable. The university didn't skimp on us for sure. I got a room with Jorgen. Do you know him? He's studying astrophysics, and he's in my group. One of the best there, actually. Wow, my fucking reading is abhorrible right now. Sometimes I feel stupid compared to him. Like, in the last class we had, he finished everything an hour before me, and that's just usual for him. He told me that he will be late. He needs to finish something. I don't know what. I start to tune out and just nod, mentally tired at the ride and the unpacking. I thankfully have no problems with just falling asleep on the bus, but it's not exactly comfortable. I do like Lake a lot, but his enthusiasm can be exhausting at times. I shift my attention to the pair sitting across the table from us, Coach and Rune. They seem to know each other, which is not a surprise. They seem much more casual with each other than I thought they would be, though. I'm still getting used to it. Hell, I don't know if I ever will. You know, it's really funny hearing you talk about that. Thing's completely normal to us. I had no idea Americans and Norwegians are that different. Yes, but it only makes me more glad that I'm here instead of back there. I was Coach Devon's an American. Boxcar, what about the photo you mentioned? I opened my mouth to reply, but I was interrupted by a waiter putting plates with our meals on our table. Lake shifts his attention towards the plates, looking at them hungrily with his snout ajar, as if he hasn't seen food in a year. Ooh, that's nicer than I expected. Before us are 2 sizable dishes, one with what looks like a root vegetable stew and the other with some sort of salad. There is also a basket with bread and a plate with sunshine buns, each wrapped in paper for convenience. Oh, I love those. Soft and fluffy, smelling of cardamom and cinnamon. They became my go-to dessert after moving to Norway. Oh, so I guess I'm also an American. I mean, I am an American, but I guess my character's also an American. Or he's from somewhere else, but he's not native to Norway. Lake grabs the salad spoon first and starts to put some of the food on his plate. When he finishes, I extend my paw to take the spoon from him, but he shakes his head and starts filling my plate with food too. Don't bother. How much do you want? I think I can see Coach looking at us out of the corner of my eye. Suddenly, I start feeling very self-conscious. Maybe a bit more. Thanks. Oh, that smells good. Until now, I didn't realize how hungry I am. I grab a slice of rye bread and start eating the stew. It has a rich taste and crunchy texture. Ooh. It's flavored masterfully, not bland but not too strong, with a hint of thyme and smoked paprika. Oh, that's good. I needed that. Suddenly, I hear the door to the cafeteria opening. I turn in their direction and see a figure clad in dark clothes entering the room. A black cat, I think. With his dyed hair and somewhat elegant clothing, he certainly stands out from the crowd. So hang on, do they all, would their hair be the same color as their fur, or would their hair be, does it kind of grow, this person dyes their hair, he mentions, but what, do all the other ones just kind of dye their hair as well? I don't know, stupid questions. He looks in our direction for a moment, but instead of joining us, sits down at the table next to ours where Miko is sitting. After him, another person enters the room. Oh, a bat. Rather short, wearing a poncho and a scarf, a rather unusual look, but somehow it works on them. I don't think I've seen anyone wearing a poncho in Norway yet, but now that I think of it, they should work very well here in this climate. Oh, yawn. They look around the cafeteria, searching for something or someone. They finally see us and start walking in our direction. Jorgen! Oh, that's Jorgen. Jorgen, come over here. We're already eating. Huh. So that's the roommate he was talking about. God, Jorgen's a fucking cool name. He seems like an artsy type, not someone who I normally would associate with Lake. Jorgen joins us in silence, sitting down and pouring himself some juice from a pitcher. Try some stew, it's really good. Wait, I'll just put some on your plate too. Lake does as he says while Jorgen is sipping on his juice. What a weird pair. Two complete opposites, an extroverted volcano of energy and a stoic introvert. Finished everything you had to? I wouldn't be here otherwise, right? Hi, I'm Boxcar. You're a friend of Lake, yes? I think you could say that, yes. They're dating, aren't they? Good meeting you then. Likewise. His tone definitely doesn't say so. No, he's one of those. Well, I tried. Instead, I start stuffing myself with the stew and tune in the other conversation happening at our table. Traditional lunch in Norway is much more modest, but it's nice to have something like this from time to time. What do you eat for lunch normally then? Usually we have 2 or 3 open sandwiches with hummus or something else, but it's always plain. I don't really know Rune and he doesn't know me, but if I ever want to even talk with him, it's probably the best chance I have. On the other hand, I was already discussing something with Lake. I hope he won't mind. I can bounce back and forth. Sorry. Why did you make a tradition out of eating something plain? Rune turns at my direction, looking somewhat surprised by the sudden intrusion in the conversation. It's fast and convenient. Eating lunch at work for us is almost mechanical. It's not something you look forward to, it's an occasion for a quick break and some sustenance for in the afternoon before coming back home. We call it matpake? Matpak. I don't know Norwegian. If anyone Norwegian is watching this, help me out. Which simply means packed lunch. So I take it you're not from around here? I don't think we have met yet. No, I'm Boxcar. I'm a freshman here. I moved here. Oh, that's right. I'm from fucking Finland. I think they mentioned that the last time. Oops. I moved here from Finland to study cognitive science. I glance at Coach. He acknowledges my presence, nodding as I mutter a quite awkward, "Hello, Professor." A pleasure to meet you. I'm Rune. I study neurobiology here. His smile is confident and he seems genuine. Like he really is happy to meet me, not just saying it out of courtesy. I haven't heard him talk before. I always imagined him having a husky voice, but it's actually rather smooth, deep, and resonant. I wonder if he's used to giving orders. He'd be good at that with that voice. I can't remember what voice he had in my dream. Oh yeah, this is the one he was dreaming about. Maybe my own. It's weird that I've done stuff with him before he even knew me. Even if it wasn't a dream. I would like to take a better look at him, but it would be rude to stare now. Besides, his lively eyes are mesmerizing. I can just sit and stare at them instead, and I'd still be happy. And how do you like it here? Oh, it's not that different. Norway is beautiful, of course, with all of the mountains and fjords, but our way of living is fairly similar. Our languages have nothing in common, though. It will take me much more than these 4 months I've been living here to be able to hold a conversation in Norwegian. The fact that we can't even agree on the one national standard doesn't make it any easier, I imagine. That was confusing at first, yeah, to learn that you don't really just speak one language. Back in Finland, I was living in a small town, and here I am living in a big city that makes the biggest difference. I had trouble sleeping for the first few nights. It's much brighter and louder at night than it was back where I lived before moving. And of course, I miss having the sauna in the building where I lived. Oh, that'd be cool. Wait, you had a sauna in the same building? Yes, that's pretty standard in Finland. Most have a sauna in the same building they live in, be it a house or an apartment building. That's fucking sick! I mean, here in the US, it doesn't really get cold unless you're up north, but damn, that'd be fucking awesome to have a sauna in your home. Oh wow, I like saunas, but that is pretty crazy. Nah, it's crazy that I have to take a bus to go to a sauna. Well, it would be pretty convenient to have one within walking distance. A nice relaxing sauna after a workout would be great. I know that there is one here, so if you'd want to hit the sauna with me, just say so. Ooh, he winks at... he winks at me. Yeah, that'd throw me off too, man. I laughed nervously, blushing. I think my heart just skipped a beat. Meanwhile, Coach finishes eating and stood up, grunting to get everyone's attention. Attention, everyone. I have a few important things to say. The cafeteria goes silent in an instant. Everyone turns in Coach's direction, who is standing next to his seat. Welcome to the first day of our winter science camp. Ahead of us is a week full of activities, lectures, and practical classes, and some leisure time as well. For now, we will let you rest. After lunch, we're free to do whatever you please. Today is for integration and fun. Devin takes a note out of his pocket and starts reading from it. Dinner is at 1600 hours here in the cafeteria. This evening, if the weather allows, those who signed up for it will be observing stars from the terrace. All the guest house facilities are at your disposal. This includes a swimming pool, a sauna, and a common space with a snooker table. Ah yes, Rune was right then. A small win for me. Please remember that tomorrow we're meeting at the entrance at 8:30 for a trip in the town. Don't be late. Breakfast is served at 7. Devin folds the paper back and hides it in his pocket, looking around the room at us. You're all adults, so you're free to leave the guest house. Just please don't do anything stupid. It will be us teachers who will have to handle that. If you need anything, you can find me in room number 2. In case there's an emergency, I am your first person to contact. I see that most of you have finished already. That's all for now. You're free to go. Coach sits down again, turning towards Rune. I'm going to hit the pool soon, but first I need some rest after that lunch. Okay, sure, I'll join you there in a while. Just what was it between those two? Leaving the speculations for later. I get up, having finished my food. Okay, Lake, see you in a while. Sure, take care. Oh, that's just me. Be seeing you, Boxcar. I smile at him and nod. Be seeing you, Rune. Hey. I grab my sunshine roll from the plate and take a bite, holding it through the paper. It's so good. I let out a pleasured sigh. I don't blame rolls are fucking delicious. Giving Lake a pat on the shoulder, I started walking out of the cafeteria and towards my room. Coming back to my room, I catch myself humming a melody. I haven't been in such a good mood in a long while, and I've got every reason to be. The air here is clean and pleasant even inside the guest house. I have nothing to worry about. No classes, no assignments, no groceries, or cleaning to be done. It's so peaceful here, and I feel this strange energy building up inside me, excitement for the coming time that threatens to explode. I'm free. I have nowhere to hurry, and at the same time there is so much I want to do. I have this whole camp ahead of me. I already can't wait to walk around the forest here and hop in the sauna afterwards. Rune's words echoed in my head. If you'd want to hit the sauna with me, just say so. Was it actually an offer, or was he just joking? Because I definitely would take up on it. I conjure up the image of him sitting on a sauna bench, with only a towel around his waist, dress slipping from his muscular body. No, not a good time to think about things like that. Boxcar? I yelped, startled. I got completely lost in my thoughts and did not hear the footsteps behind me. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I just saw you standing here and daydreaming. What's up? Nothing, just thinking about how great it would be. You here now? Nico's face brightens with a smile. It's good to change the scenery from time to time. I'm glad you're happy, and it's good to spend some time with you again. Out of nowhere, I once again find myself in the wolf's tight embrace. I wrap my arms around him, reciprocating the hug and snuggling him closely. Although, that's probably not what we should be doing in a corridor. I hope nobody is walking in on us now. A few years ago I wouldn't even mind, but now for some reason I feel a bit self-conscious. Patting him on the back, I break the hug. I'm really looking forward to the trip into town. It'll be such a long time since we've been on anything like this. Yeah, that should be fun. I hope to get some nice shots there too. Anyways, I'd better get going. I want to rest some after that lunch. Oh fuck, I bumped my scroll wheel. Anyways, I'd better get going. Oh, I read it backwards, what the hell? Okay, I'll be in my room then. In any case, you know where to look for me. Feel free to drop by. I nod and turn around, continuing to my room. Standing finally before the door to my room, I put a paw in my pocket to take out the key. Oh, is it gone? But it's not there. Wow, okay, that music just came out. I wiggle my paw inside the pocket, but it's empty. I check the other pocket. Only my phone is there, and of course I wouldn't put the key in the same pocket as my phone anyway. I feel a cold sweat on my forehead. No. Things like that don't really happen. There's literally no way I could lose that key. I always put my keys in the right pocket, and I wear trousers with deep enough pockets that nothing falls out. I press the handle and try to open the door, but it doesn't budge. I knew I locked it anyway. Okay, deep breaths. The key must have simply fallen out of my pocket somewhere along the way, maybe in the cafeteria. I simply have to retrace my steps and look for them. But in the back of my head, I know that's not what happened. I turn back and walk down the stairs, scanning the carpet for any unexpected shapes. Some students pass me along the way, and I try my best not to look distressed. I don't want the others to look at me as I'm some clumsy kid. But foremost, I'm scared of possible fines for losing a key. I'm just a student without any job. I really can't afford putting even more strain on my budget. I'm right there with you, man. Better not even consider it. I feel like I'm already on the verge of a panic attack. I might have wanted some adventures during this camp, but this is definitely not what I had in mind. Why are you staring at the ground? I almost jump back, startled. Why is everyone so set on scaring me today? Rune is standing in front of me, looking at me with concern, clutching a key in his right paw. Rune! I didn't hear you steps. I was just daydreaming. You look like you were looking for something, though. He tilts his head slightly and observes me closely with full seriousness. This is really embarrassing. Well, what are you holding there? This is a key to my room. Oh, so you did lose something. I look away embarrassed. Of all the people that could stumble upon me in this corridor, it had to be him. He doesn't seem to want to mock me, though. Actually, he seems genuinely concerned. He is really perceptive, that's for sure. Now that I'm getting to know him, I have to say that he's different than I imagined. Well, yeah, I cannot find the key to my room. Must have fallen out of my pocket when I was coming back from lunch. I don't know how that could have happened, but I don't say that out loud. I just feel bad about this in general. Oh, well, that's bad. He scratches his head, scruffing his odd brown hair. You should check at the reception. Maybe someone found it and returned it there. And you can always go to Devin. He should know what to do. We're supposed to go to a teacher in case of any emergency, and I would call this one. I mean, I'd probably try searching first, but I'll try searching. For now, I'd probably prefer to look for it myself. I don't really look forward to having to pay for a lost key. Rune nods with a serious face. Okay then, I'll help you look for it if you want to. I exhale, deflating as most of the tension leaves my body, as if a heavy stone was lifted off my shoulders. Instead, I can feel my cheeks getting hot. Uh-oh. That's Rune offering me to help, after all. Did you go anywhere other than your room after lunch? No, straight to my room. It could be somewhere on the way to the cafeteria. Let's go there then. You've probably dropped your somewhere key there. That's a typo, I think. And now you're worrying about nothing. Rune shoves the key into his pocket and starts walking alongside me. The silence between us starts to feel a bit uncomfortable. Rune must have sensed that as well because he is the first one to break it. So Boxcar, you moved here from Finland, yes? Why? Oh, that's a question I'm not a fan of, mostly because I could talk about the reasons the whole day. Most of them feel just too personal to mention them. Memories of my hometown come back to me one by one and I shake my head to shake them off. I really don't want to go into detail right now, so I just recite the same answer I tell everyone. I wanted to study cognitive science, and I looked for the universities with the best options. It was just a coincidence that the best one I could still get into was in Norway. I look at Rune and see that he's looking back at me, expecting me to continue. But I'm happy with how things went, and I much prefer living in a dormitory than staying with my parents. Oh yes, dormitories are nothing fancy, but they sure are fun. I lived in a dormitory during my first 2 years in a university, and frankly, I regret moving out. Why did you do it then? I wanted to have a room of my own. You know, roommates often get in a way of stuff. Yeah, he winks at me again. My imagination starts running wild about what kind of stuff he might mean. So, do you have your own flat now? Yes, I'm living alone. I'm renting a flat just next to the shore. It's nothing special, but boy, you could see the views I have from there. Fuck, that'd be cool. I love living there so much. That doesn't mean I don't love living in the dormitory, though, just for very different reasons. Meanwhile, we arrive at the door to the cafeteria. Rune opens the door and holds it for me, gesturing me to come inside. Just a minute ago, the cafeteria was bustling with students, but now it's eerily silent. Tables are still covered with checkered tablecloths gleaming in the sunlight filtered through the windows. Looks like the sun came out from behind the clouds for a moment. Even though it's only a while after noon, it already is low on the horizon. We're above the Arctic Circle after all. The eeriness of the empty cafeteria and the Arctic sun makes it all seem like a scene from a film. Especially with Rune entering the room and looking around slowly, the warm light highlighting his silhouette. The sudden sound of a door closing after us echoes in the room, startling me. For a moment, I forgot why we were even here. I snap out of my daze and start looking around instead. But to no avail. This is the table where we were eating, but I don't see the key. Are you sure you even had it with you while we were here? I'm not sure about anything now. I think so, but I didn't check. Still, I don't know where else it could lose it. Rune walks up to the window, taking a look outside before turning to me again. I think that going to the reception desk is the only option you have. I say nothing, but I know that he's right. I walk up to the window next to him and lean on the windowsill. The sun already hid behind the clouds again, and the snowfall still continues. I look sideways and see Rune looking through the window at some point in the distance. He must have noticed me looking, though, because he turns towards me. What's up? Yeah, sure. Rune, can I ask you something? Sure. Shoot. Why are you helping me? The snow forms whitecaps on the trees and covers everything in sight. If I open the window, cold Arctic wind would bring some inside, too. I could extend my arm and watch how the snowflakes melt in my fur or get stuck between my whiskers. Don't get me wrong, I'm really thankful for that. We just don't even really know each other yet. You've met me just half an hour ago. You could have just ignored me and gone to your room or wherever you were going. I'm sure you just had better things to do. You could have left me and looked for the key myself. Why do you think I had anything better to do than talking with you? And yes, we've talked for the first time today, but what would it be a better way of getting to know you than coming with you? I look down, staring at my shoes. I can't shake off the feeling that I am looking very stupid right now. But why would you want to get to know me? At that moment, Rune walks up to me, standing within arm's reach. Up close, he looks even more impressive. I can really see how much bigger he is than me. Taller by a head and with much more of a wider frame compared to my lanky build. Why shouldn't I? I like you, and I like helping others. At least the ones I like. I wish I could hug him now, if only to hide my blushing snout. You're really kind, Rune. He extends his paw and starts petting my head. His paw is gentle, much more than I thought a basketball player's paw would be. This feels really nice, and I don't want him to stop. But of course, this only lasts a second. His paw is gone from my hair. Probably less than you, I think I am. Come on now, we should talk to the receptionist. I nod and we both leave the empty cafeteria in silence, heading towards the entrance of the building. I tap my paw pads on the counter nervously. The closer we are to talking to someone from staff, the more nervous I get. Having Rune here with me helps a bit. I glance sideways and see him leaning on the wooden counter, deep in thought. He notices me looking and turns towards me too. Don't worry, everything will be fine. He gives me the earnest smile that could melt ice. Before I have a chance to reply, the janitor emerges from the utility room. She's a wolf in an ambiguous age, could have been 30 as well as 50. God etter mig dag, vad tänker du hjälpa med? God etter mig middag. I lost the key to my room. I went to look for it around the guest house, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Did anyone find it and return it here? The janitor smiles at me reassuringly, completely unfazed, and I start to suspect I'm not the first one to lose a key in the room to this guest house. No, not yet, unfortunately. Did you leave the guest house after you got the key? No, I didn't. So it still has to be somewhere in the guest house. I will keep my eyes open. Let's not assume it's gone. Your name and room number, please? Boxcar, room number 17. Janitor opens some ledger, and meanwhile Rune leans and whispers, See? Everything will be just fine. Or everything will be fine. Your room is a single one, so we don't have a second key for it. I'll call the office and get you the spare, so that you will be able to access your room in the meantime. She takes an old flip phone out of her pocket and dials a number. Someone on the other side of the line picks up, and quickly, and a muffled voice escapes from the small speaker. The janitor puts the phone to her ear and starts to explain the situation, and I switch my attention from her to Rune. I got pretty worked up over this, didn't I? But I'm feeling fine now, in a huge part thanks to this big guy. I don't think that he was lying when he said that he likes me. I mean, why would he? But everything about the situation feels surreal, like a dream. A lot of different thoughts are swirling around my head right now. Maybe I am sleeping now? Maybe I came back to the dream from before somehow? Probably not, because Rune is not in jock straps now, but in brown trousers and a jacket. If this was a dream, it would be a pretty mundane one. My mind would do better than that. Did I thank you for coming yet? I think I should. No need to. I came here because I wanted to. Rune leans in closer and looks at me straight in the eyes, corners of his mouth curved upside in a light smile. Boxcar, You worry way too much. Blockert haben man dir? Blocked, I switch my attention back to the janitor, sensing troubles. She speaks with an urgent tone, too fast for me to understand her besides some single words. She ended the conversation with a single "ha det" and put down her phone with a sigh. It looks like nobody from the office will be able to make it here today. We weren't prepared for the snow to start falling so early this year in such amounts. They said that they will come tomorrow morning, and in the meanwhile I will look for your key. For today you will have to move to another room. We don't have any single rooms left, unfortunately, but I can show you some rooms have a bed still available. We have a lot more double rooms than single ones, so most of the students got a room with a second bed. But maybe one of your friends still has a free bed in their room? You could ask them, but if none of them have one, then come back here and I can find you something. She gives me an apologetic smile and points to a small basket on the counter filled with sweets. Maybe you want some. I shake my head, looking down at my paws. I don't really know what to say. That's a very sudden turn of events. I have so many questions that I don't even know which I should ask first. Swallowing saliva, I finally decide on one that concerns me the most right now. All my stuff is already in my room. I won't be able to retrieve anything from there until tomorrow? Oh, you're right, wait a moment. She walks off to the utility room in a short while, carrying something in her paw. Here is a bathroom kit for you. We always keep a spare few of those for we always keep a spare few for those who forget to bring their toothbrushes or soap with them. Oh, that's smart. She handles me the I assume that's meant to be hands. Me the kit, all packed inside a cloth pouch. We're really sorry about this. Can I do anything else for you now? I shake my head. If you will have any questions or problems, please come back to me and we will try to sort it out. I'm not going anywhere, although by midnight I usually am asleep already. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Tak. Thank you. She smiles at me, turns around and returns to the utility room. Groon looks at me with concern. What are you going to do now? I don't have an answer to this question. I don't have any idea what to do now. Apart from finding another room to stay, of course. I need to think. I'll go outside for a moment, maybe take a short walk. Okay, I'll let you think alone then. I promised Devin that I will go keep him company in the swimming pool, so I'd better get off too. I can't help but feel a growing uncomfortable feeling in the pit of my stomach, an unbearable loneliness. I actually hope that room would suggest that I can move into his room for tonight, but we've just talked for the first time an hour ago. He was already so kind to me and helped me a lot. That would not be okay for me to ask anymore. I don't even know if he has a free bed in his room. I doubt that he has a roommate because he was sitting alone with Coach at lunch, but he might have a single room just like me. Despite that, I still am feeling down. Oh, wait, you don't have anything warmer than this with you, don't you? I shake my head. All my belongings, apart from my camera, and now this prized bathroom kit, are back in my room. But I'll be fine. I won't be out there for long. Are you sure? That flimsy scarf alone won't fend off viruses. I mean, yeah, you gotta stay fucking warm, man. You might be right. Catching a cold at the very beginning of the camp would be a shame. I'll take a walk around the guest house instead. Now, I have a coat that I certainly won't need in the pool. Come with me. Rune started walking, looking back. I stand there, rooted to the stop I'm standing in, processing his words. Wait! I finally start walking, following him to his room. We walk along the corridor and Rune stops before me on one of the doors. Room number 6. He takes a key out of his pocket, opening it, and enters the room. Through the open door I can see most of his room. It seems a bit smaller than mine, and there is only one bed, as big as the one in my room. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't let me move in here. This thought comforts me, even though it doesn't solve any of my problems. Here you are. You can hang on to this until at least dinner. I won't need it before then for sure. Oh, I like that art. Rune hands me his coat and I put it on right there. It's a trendy looking black parka from the south face. It's not supposed to be north face. It's too big for me, obviously, but it's warm and comfortable, soft and fluffy on the inside. That should do. You look good in it, you wild tiger. Rune snickers, watching me with his arms crossed, leaning against the doorframe. Wow, they make him... He looked far buffer in that last panel than all the others. Thanks, Rune. I really appreciate it. See you later? See ya. He winks at me and closes the door after him. Oh, what a day. While my head is busy with different thoughts, I already got back to the lobby. The janitor lady is again at the desk, so I greet her again. I turn around and go through the entrance door, leaving the warm and cozy guest house. Ooh. A wave of cold Arctic air hits me when I exit the building, making me shiver. It's snowing relentlessly. Chill winds, I imagine, Chill wind blows through the tree branches like a harpist gently pulling strings. Our bus has left already, so the janitor's car is the only one standing in the front parking. I hope that the bus driver made it to the town without any problems. I walk through the parking lot and into the woods, leaving a trail of deep paw prints in the fresh snow behind me. I inhale deeply. The air is perfectly clean and full of smells, pines and wet moss, snow and needle-covered paths. I grew up surrounded by forests, and I always loved exploring them. Some of the smells here don't seem familiar, but I still feel at home here. The only thing I hear is the sound of the snow crunching under my paws, and the slight whisper of the wind. I am just on the edge of the woods, so the forest here is not dense. Here, and in between the branches, I can see the gray sky hanging above my head. It feels good to be here. Living in the city, it is easy to forget how nice it is to be surrounded by nature. I take out the instant camera I still have with me from my bag, turn it on, and, holding in my extended arm, I point the lens at my snout. Now I have to wait for it to develop. I stash it away quickly in the bag together with the camera and close it. I close my eyes and listen to the wind. I silence my thoughts and switch my attention to my surroundings. Deep breaths now. In and out slowly. I stand still. The wind rustles the branches, blowing off the slowly accumulating snow from them. Right now the forest is still, but everything around me is brimming with life. All the bugs in the ground, all the trees around me, every tuft of moss and blade of grass, they all breathe together with me in a steady rhythm. I am happy where I am right now. I open my eyes and shake the snow off my snout. If not for the temperatures, I could just stand and enjoy the peaceful atmosphere, but I'm starting to feel cold. It's still nowhere as cold as it gets in Finland in winter. Thanks to the proximity of the sea, this part of the country has a mild climate, but it is not a temperature I would call comfortable. Something must be wrong with my Finnish genes because I much prefer warmer weather. Okay, let's see how the photo came out. Oh, that's cool. Well, I have to say I am proud of this one. It might be my favorite photo of myself yet. Shivering a bit, I decide to keep moving. I will feel warmer if I don't just stand in one place. Walking among the trees calmed me down, though. I feel much better now. I shake off the rest of the snow that accumulated during this short walk on my hair and turn back and walk back to the guest house. Good thing I got the coat from Rune. I would feel much colder without it. I hide my snout inside his oversized parka. It smells faintly of Rune. It's a really pleasant smell, woody and complex. It reminds me of the forest, but with a hint of jasmine. It's like I'm being snuggled by him closely. This thought alone immediately makes me feel warmer. Walking much faster now, I'm back at the guest house in maybe 2 minutes. Back in the warm inside. I walk up to one of the sofas standing in the lobby and flop onto it unceremoniously. I took some books I wanted to read with me. I'd be really happy if I had one of them with me now. But of course I left them back in my room. Only now it really hits me that I will not be able to use anything left in there, including my DSLR, the books I have taken, my headphones, or even my pajamas. At least it's mildly comforting that it's only for today, and thankfully I have my phone with me. Now that I think of it, do I have some ebooks downloaded on it? But I don't remember which ones. I take the phone out of my pocket and click on the side button. The screen turns on, showing a photo of the sea that I'd taken in Greece and have been using as my wallpaper ever since. Suddenly, I remember something important. I haven't yet written my mother a message that we arrived. I might be living alone now, but in another country on top of that. But that makes her just more concerned about me. If I wouldn't write her a message, she would call me soon, and I don't feel like talking with her right now. And if I told her about the key, she would just shout at me for a while and then call me every few hours to get an update. I type a quick message to her. Hi, we arrived safely. That should do it. I press send to turn off the screen, leaning back and sighing. In the corner of my eyes, I see a movement in the other side of the lobby. Turning my head in that direction, I finally notice someone is sitting there on the sofa. I don't think I recognize him. He is a tiger like me, wearing a black tank top. He is sitting on a sofa in a relaxed position and looking at me. There's a certain aura of nonchalance about him. He suddenly stands up and approaches me confidently, tail making broad swings behind me as he walks. Well, hello there. Always nice meeting a fellow tiger. Name's Torloof, and you? I sit up on the sofa before replying, feeling strangely vulnerable under his gaze. My boxcar, it's nice meeting you too. Alright, I think I'm gonna end this here, so thank you everybody for watching. If you want to see more of this, feel free to leave a like and a comment, let me know. If you want to check out some of my other stuff and be updated whenever I update this series and put out some other videos, feel free to subscribe, and that'll keep you updated enough, I suppose. But with all that being said and done, stay foxy and take care.